This is your best practices guide on Florida's mandatory service by email rule. What you need to know, how to serve by email with delivery proof. Florida's mandatory service by email rule went into effect on September 1st, 2012, and is about serving documents on opposing counsel. And it requires service of court documents to opposing counsel by email. The rule relies upon the sender to track and prove delivery of said emails and any attachments to the intended recipient. This means sending of documents for the purposes of service by email in Florida is required, and the opposite of the old paper delivery method. If you choose not to use email to serve documents to opposing counsel, now you need to seek permission by the court to do it by paper. The Florida Bar now offers a new member benefit, the RPost Registered Email Service, the only recognized method of serving documents by email. Sending documents for service attached to RPost registered email messages provides irrefutable proof of delivery, content, and time that can make it easy for the holder of that record to provide evidence to the court of successful service. This protects the sending lawyer against claims of non-receipt of documents, claims that can bring uncertainty to litigation deadlines, and the Florida Bar offers members a special discounted price when serving documents by registered email. So in this brief, we will cover email delivery proof, what you need to know, registered email proof, how you send documents for service, and how you retain proof and what that proof means, how you use that proof as court evidence if required. So first, what you need to know. The summary of the requirement, importantly, says that if the sender learns that the email did not reach the address of the person to be served, the sender must immediately send another copy by email. And because of this, the rule puts the burden on the sender to make sure that they can, if challenged, track and prove delivery, content received, and official time of receipt of that notice. Now be aware, you should know, many people do not know and do not realize that the following 5 typical methods of recording, or what people believe to be as recording delivery of email, is not in fact recording delivery of email. The time you click the send button in your email program is not the time when the message has been legally sent. The time noted in your sent folder of your email program and the time you clicked on your desktop is not the time when your message has been legally sent or received under the Florida Uniform Electronic Transactions Act. The time the email goes through your mail server and is placed in your archive is not the time of delivery or the time of sending. Whether or not you receive a bounce notice does not mean the email has been in fact received, and whether or not you receive, or someone in your firm or organization or an external party receives a copy of the message does not mean the message was successfully sent and received to all recipients. So if you're counting on one of these 5 things as your record of or method of recording successful electronic service using email, you may find yourself in a bind if you need to prove or substantiate your claim of successful service. RPost has prepared a detailed best practices guide that goes into why each of those methods of recording email transmission, email sending from your desktop, email reaching your mail server, why these are not a valid record of sending and receiving of email under the Florida Uniform Electronic Transaction Act, Section 15, which defines the time of when an email has been legally sent and received. You may download this guide at rpost.com/FloridaBar, and this guide provides links to reference legal analyses, white papers, other corporate counsel guides that talk about those issues and also speak to the details and cite the Florida court rules in specific sections. So we suggest that you review this guide. The Uniform Electronic Transaction Act, in the context of electronic delivery, is focused in Section 15, in particular 15B and E, that an electronic record is received when it enters an information processing system that the recipient has designated or uses for the purposes of receiving electronic records or information of the type sent, from which the recipient is able to retrieve the electronic record, and is in a form capable of being processed by that system. This means the recipient's ISP, their mail server agent, essentially the server listed of record in the internet records, the MX records, when that server accepts that message on behalf of that recipient, even if no individual is aware of its receipt, that is successfully received under the Uniform Electronic Transaction Act. And then the challenge is being able to prove that in fact that happened, what the content was that was received, and precisely what uniform time, not the sender's time or the receiver's time, what uniform time was that in fact received. So to do this, the Florida Bar now offers RPost registered email proof as a service that is a member benefit with discount pricing. So to show you some of the sending options and the simplicity of using this service to serve documents, we will walk through the product very quickly. The product is available for use with Microsoft Outlook, all versions, with all browsers, browser-based emails, with mobile, iPad, Android operating systems and devices, and so on. This simple method of sending a message, a document for service, or for that matter, for any other reason where you want proof of who said what and when, you simply compose a message as you normally do and click the Send Registered button. To show you in Outlook how that works, you compose a message as you normally do, you can attach attachments as you normally do, and then you click the Send Registered button. You have a few options. You can send it registered and marked, meaning the receiver is aware that the sender is proof, unmarked, and you can do a number of other things like encrypt, clean metadata, sign messages if you need to add your signature and timestamp, and so on. We won't get into these other points, but they are available on videos on RPost.com to show you more information about all of the things that you can do with the RPost service. But for the purposes of this discussion, instead of clicking Send, you compose and click Send Registered button, and then you click the Send button, and that is all you need to do as the sender. If you're using a web-based email system, you can log in or register for your RMail web email account at rpost.com, and you can sign in, and then from this web-based email account you can compose a message as you normally do to the person that you want to serve. You type your message, and if you want to sign your name on the document, you certainly can. You can attach documents. You can attach documents up to 200 megabytes, and then you click the Send Registered button. So it's that easy to send documents with proof of service. What the receiver sees is an email with your attachments. If it started as a Word document, you can have it convert en route to PDF. You can clean the metadata en route. You can sign electronically. You can timestamp it as well. But the basics are: the receiver sees a registered email banner. They know you know they got it. You can send it marked or you can send it unmarked, as you see here, so that they don't know that you know they got it. Most of our users send it registered and marked, and it also adds registered in the beginning of the subject line to highlight the importance. In terms of what you receive as the sender, within 2 hours you receive a registered receipt email, and this is the proof record. Unlike, say, a traditional Outlook read receipt, the registered receipt is not just simple text. It can be verified. It comes back 100% of the time, whether or not the receiver uses Outlook, whether or not the receiver takes any compliant action to return it to you. The registered receipt verifies on demand the proof of delivery, content, and time. The receipt looks like this. It comes back to your inbox. Often it will route, if you so choose, to a subfolder in the inbox that's automatically set up called the receipt folder. You can have copies routed into different areas if you so choose. The receipt has a statement of fact as to legal delivery. This is the underlying transaction metadata associated with the delivery. This is the legal record of receipt by that recipient system that has been authorized to collect mail on behalf of the recipient. This is the delivery audit trail. But for the layperson, the RPost system analyzes that information and then interprets the level of delivery into 4 levels: delivered and opened, delivered to mailbox, delivered to mail server, or delivery failure, and it identifies the precise legal time when it was in fact delivered and if it can be determined opened. Now, under UETA, Uniform Electronic Transaction Act, Section 15, the top 3, delivered and opened, delivered to mailbox, or delivered to mail server, are deemed to have been successfully delivered legally, and those would be deemed as the time of successful service. The RPost system also can authenticate that record. The receipt is digitally signed, and all the underlying data associated with that transaction is embedded in the receipt. Importantly, the RPost system does not store any information. It returns that record to the sender, embedded and encrypted in the registered receipt. And from this receipt, if you need to, you can have the original message content, attachments, transaction metadata, timestamps, reconstructed, authenticated as valid, and RPost provides simple instructions how to prepare your court record if needed. If you need to authenticate the receipt, it's as simple as forwarding that receipt by email to the address verifiedrpost.net. The RPost system will very quickly, just like a traditional tracking system, the RPost system provides an authentication process in the event of a dispute, and if that receipt is forwarded to that address, then the RPost system will authenticate whether the receipt has been tampered with or not. If it's valid, it will reconstruct all the underlying forensics in their native format, just like a audit trail comparison for an express courier service. That is the underlying native format, original authenticated transaction record. And then in addition, because in electronic this is very important, in addition, the RPost system will reconstruct the original content of the message in its original form with all attachments, proving the content and times of successful service of delivery of that message to the intended recipient. Now, when one needs to package your evidence for use in court, RPost does provide a litigation counsel guide in its blog, and in this guide you see step-by-step how to package that record and what exhibits you might want to append to that, what legal analyses have been done that discuss how the RPost record is a court admissible record under the federal rules and also the case law. So that is available at rpost.com. Florida Bar members can receive discounts and also all of the reference material that we discussed today at rpost.com/Florida Bar. Also keep in mind that the RPost service does include email tracking, email proof, document delivery, tracking, document delivery proof, document signatures for the sender. You can obtain recipient sign-off, you can encrypt messages and attachments, and you can send messages by default up to 200 megabytes without any extra accounts or hassles. Thank you very much.